All right, welcome back once again. To be sincere, I'm really excited showing you a lot with regards to Corel Draw. So without any further ado, let's get started as to how this tool works. All right, this model that you're watching, this model you're watching actually has to do with exploration of tools. So I'm going to be exploring and showing you which tool does what, so that when you have your project you actually know which tool to go for and which tool not to go for. So this will inform your design process, and this will inform whatever it is that you want to do. And like I said, the tools usually inform your design, so it's something that you really need to master. So the first thing here I want to show you is, before we get started, I just want to show you something. So the first thing I want to show you before we do anything is to focus on the drawing tools. And right here, if you look at the tools panel, what you see is, you see first of all the selection tools, and then you see the crop tools. It's really isolated. And then you see the drawing tools, and then you see the text tools, and then you see some modification tools, and you see some other adjustment tools, or also some support modification tools. So but the thing that I like to do when showing you or when starting is to really focus on the drawing tool so you could understand how it works. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is to just simply click on this tool right here. So I'm going to click on this rectangle tool, and you can see it's called rectangle tool. So the shortcut for this rectangle tool is something that you need to master, because like I usually tell my students, that shortcuts actually help shrink your design time by half. So if you have like maybe an hour to design, if you master shortcuts, you'll be able to design maybe in 30 or 15 minutes. That's exactly what it is. So you need to learn to master the shortcut. So if you head over right now and you press on your shortcut, which is F6 or something, depending on the system they're using, but pay attention to the shortcuts, and you'll be able to design rapidly, design faster, and have easier flow, and get to do things better, or do things with great ease and great speed. All right, so let's get to focus on this drawing tool. First drawing tool that I like to introduce you to, I know I'm supposed to just focus on something, but just follow me. The first drawing tool I like to introduce you to is the rectangle tool. So you can see that if I draw this rectangle tool freeform without clicking on anything, just click and drag it, that's the rectangle tool. Alright, so that's the rectangle tool. And then if I come back to this pick tool, you see that this is a pick tool or the move tool. I can easily move this. I can easily move the rectangle. You can see that I can easily move the rectangle. Okay, so if you're watching this video along with me, you can also try it out, and you see how easy it is to do these things. Now the second drawing tool is the ellipse tool. It's the ellipse tool, and you can see how you can just draw the ellipse however you want. But there's something I want to point you to, and I'll just go ahead and click on delete to remove this ellipse tool, and then click on this rectangle tool to remove it. Now when I had drawn the rectangle tool, I could draw it freeform however I wanted it, just click and drag and draw it. But if I want to constrain this to proportion, I'll have to hold on Control or Command if you're using a Mac, Control on the PC and Command on the Mac, and this will automatically constrain this to proportion. So you can see that it's now coming in form of a square, which all the sides are very much equal. So with that, that is how you work with this tool. So that's what it does for you. And then the next thing that I want to show you is, on this tool is not just done there. You can see the black dots around the shape that we just drew. Now those are scaling nodes or scaling points. Alright, so they help you to scale this object proportionally. So what you can do is that you can actually scale it from the corners. You can also scale it from the side. You can also shrink it as well, depending on what it is that you want to do. So that's just what I wanted to show you. So you can actually scale it and adjust it no matter depending on whatever you want to do. It's with the tool still selected, and you just hover over the object that you just drew up to the point where you have this sort of a T cursor show. You can actually move it. Okay, sorry about that. With it selected, you can actually move it with your drawing. Okay, you can actually move it. Always ensure that it is selected. So once it's selected, you can move it. But all the same, if I want to move it, I come back to this move tool and just move it about, so I don't get stressed, I don't get disturbed. I don't get worried about anything. So that's just what it is you have to know about just drawing those objects. And you can go ahead and try it maybe with the ellipse tool. You can go and try it with the ellipse tool, where if you hold on shift, if you draw it, it's freeform. If you hold on control, you constrain it to proportions while drawing it. And if you hold on shift, you're going to be able to increase the size while you are drawing the shape. So that's this very, very simple thing. And as well, you can also scale in and also scale out depending on what you want to do. And as well, you can move it, or you can come back, click on the move tool, and then move it about. So that's just the basic thing that you can do. And very quickly, we're just going to apply something, and then you could just see how this tool works in really practical sense. So the next tool that I want to show you as part of the drawing tool is called the freehand tool. Now, there's something I want to point your attention to. You knew how I now got, instead of me to click, I just click on this object and now start drawing. This is a freehand tool. You just draw it. It's like just drawing the freehand. So you can use it to create signatures. You can use it to do a lot of things. You can use it to create contour lines. Okay, and as you draw it, it automatically makes the line to go straight. It automatically tries to straighten the lines at the point and makes it look more rigid. Okay, rather than making the line to look jagged. So it makes it look a little bit finer for what it is that you want to do. And guess what? When you click on the tool, you can actually adjust some of the things there. But we'll look at that. We'll look at a lot of things concerning that. But what I wanted to point your eyes to is that if you observe, while I wanted to click this tool, you could see that there is a black arrow under the tool. This particular tool, it wasn't here, but now it's under here. That means there are other family tools or family of tools that are included in this tool area. Okay, so what you have to do is that you can actually click on the arrow and it will come out. Then you can choose the tools that are available for you. Okay, or the tools that you want to work with, or you can long press. By the time you hold and press it, it's going to come out. Then you can select the tool that you want to do, and then you can actually play with. Like I said, it's not all the tools. There are some times when you're starting, not all the tools that you're going to be using. My goal is to take you straight to the point and you get what you're looking for. Even for the experts, like I said, even for the expert, even when I started, I didn't learn all the tools at once. You have to give yourself room to grow. But if you're looking towards just getting started and doing amazing, compelling stuff, I'm telling you, by the end of this course, you see how easy it is. So I don't want to bog you with a lot of things and maybe teach you like we normally teach in school and make it so theoretical. I want it to be very practical, actionable point, takeaways, quick, you deploy, and you start getting results quick and fast. If there's anything I can do for you, is to make you have one of the best results with ease. So that's the drawing tool that we want to look at. Now, can we focus on some modification tools? Then we can now see how we can combine these things to make things that work for you and I. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete this and bring in my pick tool and delete this, and bring in my pick tool and delete this, and bring in my and just delete this for example, and just select this and delete it. But before I delete it, so I'm just going to hit on Ctrl Z. Okay, before I delete it, if you select on the pick tool and you bring the T cursor here and you select the object the second time. Okay, so maybe the first time is to select and move, and you can select it. By the time you select the object the second time, you see some handles. You see some handles actually show here. You see some modification handles actually show around your object. So this modification handles does basically two major things. Number one, it allows you to rotate, and sometimes if you don't know what the tool does, you can see the hint. When learning how to design, is good for you to keep this hint turned on. Now, if you don't know how to turn on this your hint, what you can do is to come here to window and come here to Dockers, and you can see hint. This is where hint is, and immediately you click it, the hint, it's really going to appear to help you. So that's exactly how to get some of those side Dockers and side quick assist toolbars for you to use. All right, so that's exactly what it is. So this rotation, you can either rotate it manually. Okay, so very quickly you can either rotate it manually, or you can come in here while the object is still selected and you can put in your number and say, okay, I want to rotate this by 120. Let's see. Okay, You see that? You use figures, so it gives you the exact rotation direction you want to go, rather than just using the manual form of it. So that's exactly what it is that I wanted to show you. So if we hit Ctrl Z back again, and this other section that shows like this kind of knob, zooming in, you see it shows the 2 arrow direction, is really for skewing. This is what it means to skew, just to change it and just make it in perspective a little bit. So that's exactly what it is. You can actually skew it horizontally, or you could actually skew it vertically, depending on what it is that you want to do. And the skewing aspect does really help you, and you can see the notification here is actually guide you on what it is that you want to do, so that it is easy for you to understand. And by the time you move this rotation pin somewhere here, okay, towards any direction, okay, so you direct it to any fulcrum that you're looking for, so you can see that it affects the way that the object rotates. Okay, it doesn't rotate equally like before. So all these things are something that you should consider and you should be really aware of. So with that said and done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and show you a few more things so you can understand. I'm just go ahead. I just hit Ctrl Z to normal. So we've talked about this is drawing tools very quickly. Do we just consider just 3 drawing tools? I'm telling you to get started. This is just enough, and I don't want you to ask too many questions. I want you to create something with ease, like in fact right now in this foundational course. As you understand how to use and interact with these tools, it's easy for you to create. I'm telling you, it's easy for you to create just about anything with ease. You don't need to bombard your head. You just need to know, okay, I know this and I know this very well, and that's exactly what it is I want to show you. So the next thing that I want to show you, it's called the shape tool. Okay, we've talked about the pick tool, okay, or the move tool. The next thing I want to show you is the shape tool. Now this is what the shape tool does to geometry shape. What it does, it allows you to perform some rounded corners. As you can see, the options that are being shown here, it allows you to perform some rounded corners. So you just click on, by the time this rounded knob show, you just click it and drag inside, and it allows you to have those general rounded corners, and you can drag it back and it returns to its original size. So that's just it. You click and you get what you want. You click and you get what you want. You click it and you affect it. Exactly. That's so simple. That's why we work with CorelDRAW. All the softwares might not be easy, but with these, because that was the sole foundation in which CorelDRAW came, CorelDRAW was just to make it easy for you to get started. But for other design softwares that I've been seeing, a lot of them right now, they have started improving their features and making it easy to do some certain tasks. But by far, the majority, in terms of you wanting to go to the press or wanting to get into production, I'm telling you that either use CorelDRAW, Photoshop, or Illustrator. Those are the core industry standards. So with that said and done, this is how you can modify this object right away. Okay, so what I want to do is to draw your shape, okay, and then while the shape tool is selected, I want you to go ahead, because these are the marks that you can do with the shape tool. So I want to introduce you to the second function, because this shape tool is a very, in fact, is one of the most powerful tools in this CorelDRAW. So I want to show you the second power, or the second inherent ability of this shape tool, what this shape tool can do. So this shape tool doesn't just limit you in doing rounded corners. No, it's much more than that, and that's exactly what I'm going to reveal to you. So if you press on Control Q, okay, it introduces the second function, or the second power, or the second stage modification in which the shape tool allows you to do, and that's to play with curve, is what you can see. But very quickly, I just want you to focus on some of the things I'm going to do. You introduce the second power, or the second stage ability of the shape tool. So the first thing that you can do now is that you can go ahead, aside from the rounded corners, you can now go ahead and modify the shape tools at the nodes. All these places that you see here are the nodes. This is where the shape closes. This is where the part closes. So when the part closes, it now becomes a full shape. So if you can actually draw it out, okay, you can draw it out, you can draw it out, and depending on what you're looking for, so this is what you can get. Okay, so you can modify the nodes as much as you want. Then you can also double click on it to delete nodes, or if you click on the nodes, Okay, if you click on these nodes, you can come here to the options toolbar and then click on remove node, and it's going to remove the node. Okay, you can click here. If you double click here, you start to create nodes that you can start playing with as much as you want. So I want you to go ahead and do it. So once you just double click, you start creating nodes and you create amazing things. Now don't worry if it doesn't look like a shape that you're looking for, but I'm telling you, you can play around with a lot of things. So the next thing that I want to show you is that if at all I click on a node here, maybe I click on a point, just one click. If you double click, you create a node. If you just single click, you're just selecting that area which you want to affect. So if I click one, I can actually say, okay, create a node, and you can see now I have a handle where I can play with. All right, now if at all that is not what I want to do, okay, I don't want to create node, all I did was to just select it. So if at all I don't want to create node, I can also do the second thing, which is to create a curve. So what I want to do is this straight line that you're seeing here, I'm going to come here and click on the second one, which is something I usually tell you that when you click a tool, just look at for its options, because it's really going to help you see what is possible with the tool and some of the other extra features that are here in the tool. But everything is visible before your eyes. You click it and you check out for other modification, tier level modification, and then you click on it and you affect it. So what I'm going to do is I've clicked on the object, because you have to select the area that you want. You have to select it to affect it. So first of all, select to affect. So I'm going to select this area still with the shape tool selected, and I said you can either delete node or create a node. If I click on delete, you can see the object, the line is going to delete. Okay, so that's it. So this time around, I want to just select it and then create a curve from it. So with this selected, all I can do is to just pull it in, and now I have a curve. The second level thing that I can do is with this selected, I can come back to the corners, understand, and it gives me handles in which I can control how the fluidity of my curve, or how my curve is going to look like. So what I can do is I can pull this in, I can pull this out, exactly, and that gives me some kind of a contour around what I do. And in practical sense, we're going to see how these things work in real life, so you can make do with it. Alright, so I'm going to leave the crop tool. This is called the crop tool because the major aspects in which crop tools is really used is maybe if you want to adjust, make modifications to pictures and sizes, but then you'll get to understand the practical aspect in which I get to use this crop tool. So we've talked about 3 drawing tools, and we've talked about two handling tools, which is the pick tool and the shape tool. All right, so that's basic for you. So on our next model, we're going to be looking at how to work with text tool, how to work with the shadow tool, how to work with the transparency tool, how to work with some of these tools here, and other level modifications. So see you in the next video.